What is up, everybody? We are back on another episode of the Round Check, and we got a good episode. So let's go on the debate about what you guys were talking about, OTAs and all that stuff. So let's just come up with players that stood out to you guys. Like for example, the one player who stood out to me that's probably making a statement during this training camp. I'm hearing a lot of buzz about Darqueze Dennard. Like, it's crazy. Like, this guy was like coming last season as a guy coming as a reserve, right? And he was a first round pick. I'm hearing nothing but positive stuff about this kid. And since Moses and you guys know about DBs, what really stands out about Darqueze Dennard so far?
You know, one of the things about Darqueze Dennard, I really wanted him to play last year over Josh Norman. He has better technique, better footwork. And I love the hip-to-hip lockdown that he has. And this is one of the questions I wanted to bring up to Dion, but I'll get to that in a little bit. But overall, I love Darqueze Dennard's technique. I endorsed, even on your show, CG, I wanted him to play last year over Josh Norman.
Anybody would at this point, but then you look at it that way. I mean, Dion, what stands out about Darqueze Dennard, or are you just thinking there's somebody better?
Honestly, I mean, from what they're saying from OTAs, basically Darqueze Dennard has taken command of that nickel spot, along with the fact that they feel like he's a great mentor for the younger DBs that are coming in, the Sam Womacs, the Leon O'Neal Juniors, guys like that. So, I mean, from what they're saying, he looks good, but to me, I just did a show, on defensive backs and talked about them. And what's confusing is, the young man has a lot of time. I think he's got 8 years in the league, man, and he doesn't have many starts. He's never cracked the starting lineup. So there's got to be a question mark there as to why. And I'm trying to figure that out because I know he got drafted by Cincinnati, but he hasn't really played a ton of football. So that for me is a question mark. I know sometimes you just get the opportunity, but I don't know, man. He's a big question mark for me at this present time.
And CG, The one thing you're not mentioning though is also what I'm hearing also is, Dennard's making a statement, but don't forget who's coming up right on his tail, Quintrez Knight. I'm telling you, watch out.
Oh, so that's another guy too that I'm hearing about. But Antonio, man, what stands out about these DBs, man?
I mean, man, they got good, quick feet, man, good length. Because the Niners, we always want guys with length, man. Like, and then Sherman, he's a staple of all corners with length. And I would love for one of these guys can be the next late round corner like a Sherman. I think Womack can, for a 5'9" guy, he has reach and like he led the college football in knockdowns. Like, he has a lot of talent, man. Like, I'm excited. Like, of all the DBs, I personally would say he's the one that I'm most excited about. You know what I'm saying? In his future, I think he can have an outstanding rookie season playing that slot. We need a Cooper Kupp stopper, Like, come on now, get into him. I can't wait till he presses him, man. Get in his face, get in his grill, man. Don't give him no
Quintrez Knight.
Yeah, him too, man.
Oh, guess who's back? Back again.
Do it.
Welcome back to the Breakdown King, man. What is up, man?
What's up, everybody? Hey, good to be here. Sorry I'm late. Missed you last week.
It's all good, man. I know it was like a busy week because of the holidays. Everybody was having a good Memorial Day and all that stuff. But, man, so speaking of DBs, man, since you do breakdowns on a lot of different stuff, what stood out about Darqueze Dennard and those other players that you checked out, man?
I mean, Darqueze has, position versatility and experience, right? With that said, I think it's his job to lose. But guys like Quintrez Knight, really stick out to me as far as a lot of potential. Diamador, Lenore, some of these guys that we're kind of maybe sleeping on. There's so much depth in the Niners room. If Verrett's healthy, what do you do with Ambry Thomas? I mean, he's a guy that can be real sticky in man coverage. So I think that room went from being, kind of suspect to being, a room loaded with talent where the, Niners coaching staff has some tough decisions to make. I'm a big Quantrez Knight guy. And for me, you can't really get rid of that young talent to keep around a vet that, is of equal ability. So that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. I think training camp's going to be fun to see how it all shakes out.
So what do you think, Melissa, about the DBs?
I'm waiting until further down the line to make an opinion, because there's always early camp stories where we hear guys are good and then later on we're all fooled. So I'm holding my opinion.
Okay, but Antonio, you were onto that topic and then it just cut off, man. What were you going to say about it?
Oh, like I'm really high on Womack, like because we need a slot corner, because even last year, K'Wan Williams, he kind of regressed a little bit. So we need a new guy. If we can get the new corner, whoever's going to be the number 3, it could be Verrett, it could be Mosley. Like, we need one of these guys to play like how K'Wan Williams did in 2019, man. Because, like I said, we got that Cooper Kupp guy in our division, so. And there's other teams with 3 wide receiver sets. You need 3 really good wide receivers in a pass-happy offense NFL, So at the end of the day, we got so much depth. I've never seen this much talent in the cornerback room for our franchise history, like never, I mean, we had Nate Clemens, Walt Harris, Shante Spencer, Carlos Rogers, Terrell Brown, Chris Culliver. Those were like good, solid to good, But this has a chance to be even better than that, So I'm excited about this whole room, though, cornerback room.
Well, if you look at the 49ers, like recently, like over 20 years, when was the last time we've ever drafted a cornerback in the first round? Not since Mike Rump, right? Not since the last time we've ever drafted a cornerback higher in the 3rd round was Shante Spencer. But ever since then, I don't know why. Why do we don't even value cornerbacks high? I don't get it. That's just one thing I never understood. The last 20 years, we just never invested on a cornerback in the first round. Like, anytime you've seen these top cornerbacks in the draft, the 49ers always said, nah, we're good. We wait either in the late rounds and get one. It's like, I don't know. Like, Moses, why do the Niners don't? Yeah. Like, Moses, why do the Niners not even go on those high first round picks on those cornerbacks, man?
You know what? That's a very great question, and I still can't answer that. I mean, there were a lot of DBs in the past drafts that could have got picked up, but we didn't go for it for some reason. I don't know why. So I'm still searching for that answer.
It's just like we don't settle high rounds with cornerbacks. We always go with the late rounds or just sign them when they're free agents or something. But when you look at it that way, like, we were just gonna talk about so 49er Dion was having a good solid point. There is this one kid that hasn't been signed yet, but you're talking about this Al Young kid, right? It's crazy that this guy's not even given a chance to even compete for a roster spot, but he still hasn't been signed yet. So you're getting coached by Deion Sanders, and this kid hasn't even got a look.
It's really confusing when that happens, especially when you have people who are taught by the best. See, not this year's draft, but the year before, a lot of these cornerbacks that were coming out had lineage, so they had previous, parents there or that played in the NFL. Shante Samuel Jr., Patrick Surtain Jr., the kid that's over in with the Panthers,
J.C. Horn. So you see that they come from that. So you automatically know they've already been taught how things work in the NFL. So you usually would want to take a flyer on those dudes, because the first thing you think is, I don't have a lot. I just have to fine tune a few small things. I shouldn't have to teach a lot in depth, because they've already been taught by people who know what to do. So you just come in and learn my system and my ways and just apply it to the game that you already had developed. But then again, I guarantee you there's going to be a bunch of teams around the league that will be running around with a trash secondary. And I guarantee you this kid can make them better. I'm not joking when I say this kid is the next Richard Sherman, but faster. He played wide receiver in high school. He was set to go to D1 colleges. The only thing that held him back was his grades. So he wound up at Jackson State. They converted him to defensive back, and he balled out.
he doesn't even allow separation. Like his passive defense were insane. So I mean, like there's things you can do to be able to get this kid going, man. But when teams don't take a flyer on dudes and then they run with a whole trash secondary, it never makes any sense to me. But I guarantee you, once he gets a chance, he's going to blow up in ways that you can't imagine. And if you don't know who Al Young is, you definitely got to look at the film. This kid is a star, and all he needs is that chance. Further AM, I like that logo, man. It's Beavis and Butthead. That's back in the day.
Oh, this logo?
That's Beavis.
Beavis and Butthead, but he's an Eagles fan. But
it's the Eagles, but I do like the fact that it's Beavis and Butthead.
yeah, so like speaking of like cornerback depth, we've actually kind of improved the previous year, but like Melissa says, she has to wait and see what happens during training camp and all that stuff. It's nothing but hype for us, but we're getting towards OT. I mean towards meeting camp. So like I don't know why. What was the switch up? Like I don't get it. Like they just switch it up pretty quickly.
I believe, I don't know, that it just a guess. They're gonna try to get Trey Lance maximum practice, get as much reps as they can. I don't know what the panel thinks.
Yeah, but what was the push? Like they could have stuck with the schedule, but I guess so. Breakdown. Was this unexpected of them to switch the schedule up like that?
Yeah, maybe it's well, Debo's not here because we switched up the schedule and he's not ready. You know, maybe it's you know, I don't know exactly why. And of course, we're hoping that Debo does show, but I don't think he will. I would be surprised if he does. Maybe it's because that break in between, you know, the two mini camps allows for guys to kind of get out of groove. Whereas if you keep it more continuity there, guys are in shape, they're moving, and it just kind of streamlines. You can build off of what they had already done between the last two sessions they've had. So that kind of makes sense to me. But, you know, one thing with the secondary that you're, you know, just mentioning, CG, is that with me, you know, people are kind of concerned, well, who starts at nickel or who starts at strong safety? What I think's great about the depth of the Niners is when they go to dime or when they're in a position where it's 3rd and 12, well, now you can bring in a guy like Ambry and play him at the nickel to have him be real sticky with the guy. Whereas maybe you play a guy on earlier downs that's maybe better against the run. Same thing in the secondary. Maybe you like Odom better in coverage, or maybe it's Tavarius Moore better in coverage on 3rd and long, but Hufanga in 1st and 10 type scenarios. So when it comes to playing against teams with different personnel packages and down and distances, the depth in the secondary allows for a lot of you know, mixing and matching, and really aids, I think, for the Niners if they play it right.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it just depends on how we do it. Like you just said, that Moore can be that deep safety that covers on the 3rd and long situation. But I think Hufunga's a natural instinct. Like speaking of Tolano Hufanga, he's actually kind of stood out during this OTAs and all that stuff, and it's nothing but positive stuff going forward with this kid. And I want to see what OG's got to say. I mean, he knows DBs, and he can give me a good understanding of Hufanga.
Hufanga has got, according to what reports are saying, has gotten much faster. His instincts are just off the chain. But the big question is, when you put that pit with those pads on, is he still going to be the same? So that's what I'm interested to see about Hufanga. But I think he's going to start in front of Tart.
Tart's not even on the roster.
Tart, I mean, because Tart don't come back, Hufanga will start.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Because George Odom is the guy in front of, technically speaking, would be in front of him right now. So the thing that I've seen with Talanoa,
but with Odom, they're saying that he's gotten cooked a few times in OTAs. So that's
not good.
Not good.
That's not good.
And he was brought in more so to be a special teams ace when it comes to that. So here's what I'll say, man. It's very simple. When it comes to Talanoa Hufanga, I'm a Pac-12 guy. I'm a UCLA fan, diehard, been one forever. So what I can tell you is I hate USC with a passion, but I do have to watch them because they churn out NFL talent every single year consistently. So we got Huff, we got Drake Jackson, and here's the thing with Hufanga. When he was brought in,
he was already being trained by Troy Polamalu. This goes back to my point earlier. Look at the company you keep. That's like a receiver being trained by Jerry Rice, lighting it up in college, and then he comes out in the NFL and nobody wants to pick him up. Are you really not like where's the disconnect? So with Huff, I honestly saw him as a hybrid safety / linebacker. I feel like if one of the linebackers go down, you put Huff in that box, baby, and I guarantee anybody that come through that middle, they're going to get their royal rock. But try to hit that edge is not going to be a fun time for you. You know what I'm saying? I just think that his instincts and his talents are off the charts. And then what D'Amico was saying, that the game was slowing down for him. That's the reason why he's moving as fast as he is. He's making the reads that he does now in OTAs because the game slowed down, and that's typically how it works. It's rare that you see somebody come in and they automatically, boom, hit the ground running, and they can keep up with the speed of the NFL. A lot of the times it's a culture shock to people. They're like, oh, my God, this is crazy. But the beauty of it is with Talanoa, he doesn't have that issue. The game slowed down. You continue to train with Troy Polamalu. You're hanging out with Jimmy Ward. So that means you're going to build a rapport and a connection with this guy. And the next thing you know, you got two solid safeties. He ain't the fastest guy in the world, but I can tell you this: come across that middle the wrong way, you can get your world right.
Yeah, he uses his brain mentally. That's what makes it stand out. Like, he's got instincts. He knows how to play the game. He's got passion. People keep hyping him as Troy Polamalu, but this dude is like, he's just got heart out there. And I hear nothing but positive stuff about him during this during this OTAs and all that stuff that he's doing. So it's like he's breaking up a pass. He's limited passes to Trey Lance to where he had to throw in a short pass instead of a deep pass and all the other stuff. He took away the big plays, and that's just all the good things we hoping for. But breakdown. So what's the thoughts of it, man? Like Hufanga, man, he's just buzzing out right now.
Yeah, I like Hufanga. A guy you guys are talking about the fact that he can come down in the box. You look at how they used Marcel Harris last year as kind of that fourth linebacker that can kind of, play coverage. Hufanga has that position versatility. The one area in which he lacks, in my opinion, would be top speed, high-end speed to take away the post. I'd be concerned about bringing Jimmy down like they did sometimes with Tart and putting Hufanga in the post as the single high. Not saying he can't do it, but, I grew up with Troy Polamalu, and so I played sports against Troy. And the one thing about Troy is Troy had like the fastest first step. And I played sports against NBA basketball players like Freddie Jones and whatnot. Troy's athleticism was just stupid off the charts, right? I mean, his quickness and his speed was just stupid. And how, Hufanga does have great athleticism, but it's not Troy Polamalu athleticism. And so he can make up for it with his IQ. He can make up for it in a lot of different ways. He's probably a bigger body in the box. I love Hufanga. Great character guy, great team guy, awesome person, going to be a really solid player. And I think, like you guys made the point, he can make up for some of his deficiencies with his mental aptitude, his football IQ, playing the game quicker in his head.
So, yeah, he could. That's just one thing that he makes up for, is because he has the instincts and the mental aspect of the game. So Antonio, what's your thoughts of it, man? Like, Hufanga is just, I think he might just get the starting job, I think.
Yeah, because, I would start him right there with Jimmy Ward. That's two guys who can come at you like a missile, and he's going to continue to learn from Jimmy Ward. And, I wish he could be like a Polamalu, but he don't really have that type of skill set. But if he could just be like a really good contributor, like a Tony Parrish, Michael Lewis, some of our strong safeties of the past. I would, even a Tim McDonald, man. Like,
yeah, there you go.
And shout out to Hufanga for the game-winning fumble recovery in the playoff game. He got that on his resume. That's pretty crucial, man. I love beating the Packers too. But yeah, so I can see him starting, man, because he has good enough grit. I love that grit, man. He can just come at you, and we're gonna use him on blitzes. It's not just a coverage thing. I think he can scare some quarterbacks if they see him coming up the middle, man, because they might think he might try to take out their legs because he's so short. Just having that in their head, it can be a little psychological thing. So I'm down with that. Use him in every way. Make him the Deebo Samuel of DBs. Do more than one thing. Blitz, coverage, whatever.
Yeah, there's something about him Some people have listed him as a hybrid safety linebacker just because of the way he plays the game. But I think his natural position is safety. But I think strong safety just fits him well because he can tackle in the box better. But if you put him at free safety where it requires deep coverage, that may be the only problem right there. But like, Lesta, so what's your thoughts of Hufanga?
I love Hufanga. Actually, like an hour ago, I was rewatching Week 10 just to see Hufanga versus the Rams. I expect big things from him this year.
Yeah, shampoo commercial. I hope he gets one. I like that Jimmy Ward where he was saying that. Yeah. Like, especially like when Jimmy Ward kind of praised him and say, hey, I can see him get a shampoo commercial or something head and shoulders.
Yeah, he's gonna have to fight Ray McLeod for that one. Him and McLeod. You see McLeod's first interview.
Oh man, the hair, yeah.
So Ray McLeod and Talanoa Hufanga in a Head and Shoulders commercial. That'd be dope. That'd be dope. We get two Niners on TV, man. I'm not mad at that at all. I did want to touch on something. So a lot of people are questioning whether Deebo Samuel will be at the mandatory OTAs. I think he will. Number one reason, can't afford it. You can't afford them fines, man. Like once it starts getting into OTAs and then you get into training camp and all that stuff, I don't care that you don't have a new contract. It's all about if you have the money to be able to sit out like that. And I haven't heard of many endorsements for Deebo Samuel, and it's not to say that he's not worthy of such, but I just haven't seen anything. So my thing is, if you don't have that extra money, get cash flow coming in, you don't have the money to pay those fines, then you're going to have to be there. Even if you don't want to work out, that's fine. I get it. But you're going to have to show up because you can't take the hit in the pocket like that. He hasn't made enough money, and that's where I come in at to say that he will show up just strictly based off of the money that he would lose for not coming. Anything mandatory, Deebo will be there. Anything not mandatory, he's not showing up. And I understand his reasoning. Hey, you want to get your money, you want to get your contract, you want to be paid. I completely understand it. The one thing I am happy about though is that 10 was excused for mandatory minicamp. And I want him to stay away as long as possible. The only reason is take a physical and get the hell out. I don't want
Jimmy G was excused from the doctor, so he had to get out of the LTAs. Yeah, pretty much.
He did. I don't want him in the building at all because I saw Jack Hammer and Grant Cohn, and what really kills me, and this is just me. A lot of content creators seem to be comfortable with the fact of Jimmy staying on this roster, and I don't understand why. If you look at that from a wide perspective and you take a step back, you'll destroy that locker room immediately. So you cannot do that. If you keep Jimmy here, I don't care if he takes a discount. You cannot do that. If you put him here the minute he screws up, the minute Trey throws an interception, or this doesn't go well, or that doesn't go well, you know what people are going to start doing? We still got Jimmy. It's okay to put him in. Come on, coach. And if Kyle was weak enough to listen to them when they started telling him not to put Lance in and keep Jimmy out there because it's messing with his leadership, then he would do it again. And I don't trust Kyle. So I want to know what you guys think. I personally believe you pass the physical, you get traded or you get cut, but you get the hell on. You don't come in the building, you don't practice, you don't belong here, we don't want you here. You need to be gone. Kyle has said it himself, we expect him to be traded, but that's not a guarantee. So by him saying that is either that once he's healthy, maybe there'll be a market, and if there isn't, we got to get rid of him. If you keep him on this roster, you divide that locker room amongst people who want Jimmy on the field and people who don't want Jimmy on the field, and you're going to screw things up. And somebody it wasn't Hammer, it was another guy, but he was saying like, oh, well, if Trey goes down and, Jimmy has to come in for a couple of weeks. No, I don't need that. Because you know what that does? That tells what happens if Jimmy goes on go on a couple of game winning streak? Then they're going to look and go, well, he is winning, so might as well leave him in there. You can't do that. I don't see a way that Jimmy and Trey on the same roster with Trey being the starter works in that locker room where the locker room is going to be tight-knit enough to respect the fact that Trey is the guy, period, point blank, no ifs, ands, or buts, and Jimmy is just a backup. It just doesn't make sense. I really want to know what everybody thinks about that.
Oh, I agree with you 100% of what you're saying. It's like, what's the purpose? Like, this guy is expensive, and no other team wants him. And then the fact that the media is talking smack about Trey, and this is why Jimmy is still here, it's really annoying. Like Shanahan says, there's no guarantee if nobody wants him right now. The only way that he can get traded if they pay cut his contract, because no other team's going to pay $25 million for his contract just to be a backup. Are you serious?
It said that his camp is willing to rework his deal once somebody signs him. So I'm like, okay, cool, that works. I'm not tripping off that, but it doesn't make sense to me. And I'm trying to make it make sense in my head, and it just doesn't. You don't. Somebody said if you have two starting quarterbacks, you have no starting quarterbacks.
Right. Yeah, and it's kind of like a mixed competition.
Yeah, he may be bottom of the league, but he gets a starter. He's in that 20 to 32 range, so that means he can start somewhere. So I don't know.
It's just that his trade value sucks right now because he's injured, and plus he kind of ruined it from right off the bat. So, Moses, I know you want to get on this topic, man.
I'm just going to sum it up like this. I'm not a Jimmy G fan. I'm not a Trey Lance fan. I go with the 49ers where they choose to be the best quarterback. And I really believe, I'm going to agree with Dion, Jimmy G had his chances. Now it's time for him to go and give the reins to Trey Lance. Jimmy G had a huge chance in a Super Bowl, but overall, it's time for Trey Lance. Jimmy G had his chances already.
All right, breakdown. I know you got something to say about this one.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on what Dion said regarding Debo as well, because I think, he made a good point. He's losing significant money if he doesn't show up. With that said, if he does show up, he ain't going to be practicing. There's no way he steps on the field. And I'll also say he does have Old Spice money and Cherry Bundy money as far as a little bit of endorsement there. But how about it also shows how the relationship is between Debo and the team. If Debo doesn't show up, then we know there's still more friction than what's kind of out there being reported, oh, he's going to be back. So I'm really looking to see if he does actually show up or not. Even if he does, I don't anticipate him to practice until he gets his new deal. Regarding Jimmy, I kind of come out of left field on this. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I really honestly believe they're going to keep Jimmy until the trade deadline mid-season. And the one caveat with that is that I don't think he's going to be around the team at all. I don't think he'll go to training camp. I don't think he'll be in the building at all. But I think the Niners are so stubborn, they're not going to give him away for nothing. So what they're going to do is they're going to wait till the trade deadline when a bad team or a good team with a needed quarterback is willing to pony up something for Jimmy. I just don't see him giving him away for nothing. So that's kind of the way I envision it, playing out.
Yeah, and you know what? If you cut Jimmy Garoppolo, Seattle Seahawks is going to get him. That's why I'm worried.
My thing is, with your idea breakdown, here's the thing. Once he's on the roster, game one of the season, his money is fully guaranteed.
Even if he's on IR? What if he's on IR?
They're not going to put him on IR. You can't. No? Even if his money is fully guaranteed, no matter what. So you can't keep him beyond. You can't have him on the roster week one. Otherwise, you're going to wind up losing all of that money. Basically, you're going to wind up kicking yourself square in the ass because you can't pay $27 million to a guy to sit on the bench. I mean, don't get me wrong. 2020 was the worst year of the 49ers ever because we had the most money sitting on IR. And that's the thing. When you're on IR, you still get paid. Like that doesn't stop your bread. So I feel like at the end of the day, you got to get rid of him. If you don't get rid of him and you keep him and do all that, you're still not going to get much more. And you're waiting. You think about it. You wait this amount of time and go there. That just doesn't make sense. Somebody saying, "Oh, we need a quarterback. Let's go run into the 49ers to pay." The rest of that salary. If that's the case, then we should just trade him and tell somebody we'll take a portion of the salary on our cap to be able to just, allow for him to get out of town. But that's the thing. I feel like at this point, he's run his course, man. Let him do. Let him go. I know they don't want to, and I agree with you. They are stubborn about that. They have been all off season. They have been very adamant that they do not want to give him up for nothing. But here's the thing. Sometimes you got to put your ego aside and think from a business standpoint. At the end of the day, what's good for business? I got a receiver who's sitting here pissed off because he wants money. I haven't paid him yet. I haven't gotten him taken care of. Even if I can't get a deal worked out, I can come to him if I cut this other guy once he's healthy and say, hey, look, man, I'm going to throw you a bone here. I'm going to give you another 20 on top of your phone. Now you got 24. Let's work something out in the offseason, ball out this year. We'll continue to do what we do. Like, it would make more sense, but I see where you're going, but just you start to basically do what you could have done in a trade. You tell somebody I'll take half of that money, and you take the other half, or hey, look, man, we was gonna lose $7.5 million if we cut him right now.
Right. Yeah, the hard part is this time of year, everybody feels good. Oh, we got our rookie quarterback. We got our roster full.
We got our vet.
Jimmy's not healthy, so he can't even throw. Why would we trade for him? So it's like this really tough spot that I think. I mean, maybe you could get the Carolina to trade Darnold for him straight across, but then you got to take on Darnold's salary. I mean, I don't know what it looks like out there. Like who really...
Hey, what if Deshaun Watson gets suspended and then they have a quarterback available? Would they go after?
They already they haven't even gotten rid of Baker. And
Baker's still here.
The reason
I forgot about him.
The reason I think that they haven't gotten rid of Baker is for that very reason. But like for me, this is all I'll say on the Deshaun Watson situation. The man was proven guilty of nothing. And everything that they were supposed to indict him on and all the other stuff got threw out. So now what do you have? Civil suits. So you know what civil suits to me mean? Money. How much money you going to give me to shut up? Whether it happened or didn't happen. That's all a civil suit is. I just need money for you to make me shut up. How much can you give me? And if that's the case, and the NFL says, well, hey, we got to suspend this guy. We got to show that that we don't tolerate this. In my defense, from the players union and from his agent standpoint, he was technically suspended all of last year. They wouldn't even let the man in the building, though he didn't want to play for the Texans.
Yeah, he was.
They told him not to come around. So that's automatically a suspension right there for a full year. So you're gonna tell the guy again he's got to miss another year or another 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever they want to do, and he's already basically served his time. So, and then if they do that, what do? Look, Baker, I know you ain't happy here, bro, but we need a quarterback. Might as well get on the field, earn your money. You ain't went nowhere yet. And the whole thing was that I think Baker was supposed to go to Carolina. Carolina was wavering between Baker and Jimmy, and I think they were leaning more Baker, but then they still haven't done anything, and I think Jimmy would have been fine if it would have been a situation where he was healthy. But with him not being healthy, kind of is what it is.
Yeah. So, Antonio, man, what do you feel about this Jimmy G situation?
Man, of course, I want us to get rid of that freaking big old contract, man, because, we need room to sign our own players and then maybe get another vet. Well, I thought we had the chance, but, we were stuck with his contract. We probably could have had 2 or 3 more good vets on the team, for more depth, but it didn't work out like that, man. I mean, like I said, whoever's a starting quarterback, I'm rooting for him like crazy. But it's probably Lance time, man, because I think he's developed, and I think he's going to have good rapport with Brandon Ayuk and Danny Gray and Kittle, and then we got a running game. So he has everything, man. We got good underrated depth at the O-line now. They've been adding some reinforcements, and shout out to Jason Poe. He's going to be our secret weapon. Oh, man, I can't wait to use him. That boy's going to
he was on my show like weeks ago, like weeks before the draft.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, so I'm in the trade Jimmy camp, because you have to, because that big contract.
And not only that big contract from Jimmy G, what about D4's contract?
Oh, he can get cut at this point, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we got
already past the deadline.
I mean, we got Drake Jackson
they basically
out of USC.
They basically said that D4 should be cut, and the only unfortunate thing is we're only saving like $1 or $2 million this year and maybe $3 million next year.
because we still got to pay him because for some ungodly reason, I don't know how Parag forgot that you don't give an injury-prone player an injury guarantee. Maybe it's something that's worked into every contract. I don't know. But, I mean, why would you give D Ford an injury guarantee? Knowing this dude can barely stay on the field as it is. He had one good year and got broke off because of that. And don't get me wrong, 2019, it was beautiful, but he still missed a lot of time.
He did.
So
I mean, don't get me wrong. When he was coming off of Kansas City, he was pretty good, but it was just kind of at the time, you guys could have said, "Oh, that was a good ass move," and then shit, his back issues and all that stuff, that just really hurt us in the long haul,
he
and
can
we were
do
the
us a
ones
solid
suffering.
and retire, and then we'd be fine. But he ain't gonna do that because he want that money. You know,
For
that's
sure.
how it works. If he retired, we'd be free of that bread. You know, we might have to pay him a little bit, but we wouldn't have to pay him as much as we're gonna pay him because I believe we're paying him basically, you know, this year and next year, probably gonna wind up paying him anywhere between 10 to 15 million to do nothing. And that sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so here's one content creator that kind of disagrees with us. Wayne Breezy kind of said, why not we keep D Ford and all that stuff and see what happens and all that other stuff. And I don't know, like at this point, when you look at D Ford's contract, it really hurts us and he can't even stay healthy. So it's like you drafted Dre Jackson to be the guy at this point. So usually these second round picks, they can contribute and be instant starters at some point. So you get a guy like Kerry Hyder, who's been in the system before and knows what it takes to be a starter if it's necessary. Then you got Samson Ebukam with high potential upside, just kind of like a poor man's D Ford, but won't get injured, right? So you look at him, and then you look at other guys. Like I feel like we have a lot of better quality depth than we did before. But D Ford, he's just he's like that one player holding us back now because he can never stay healthy. So it's like. It's yet to it's kind of like one of the most disappointing signings, but I don't know, man. Like he just hasn't quite panned out to be like the D Ford of the KC days, man. Yeah,
I was excited. I was excited when they signed D4, but after a while, those injuries start catching up, started hurting us, and I was like, oh, okay, wow, it's time for him to retire.
So Melissa, what do you think of D Ford's contract?
I don't really care about the money. I want the spot back. I'm sick of wasting spots on dumbasses that are never going to hit the field again.
So how do you feel about Jimmy Garoppolo still being here? I know you have your expression towards him.
Same difference, only more cuss words.
I love to hear it. Freedom of speech.
There it is. I like that take. Same day.
Same difference, but put on the freedom of speech. Hey, Jimmy Garoppolo, pack your shit and get the fuck out of here.
I mean, he did say bye at the press conference, so yeah, basically get out.
Get out already, man. We don't want you, Jimmy. You already won your welcome.
There's still a bunch of people out there, and here's my biggest thing. All this hate coming Trey Lance's way. Everybody said, "Oh, he's not the guy. He's this. He's that. Oh, we have this reason." They came up with a new
excuse
term called arm fitness.
Anybody
on this panel, feel free to let me know. Any of y'all ever heard of arm fitness?
What's an arm fitness? I don't even know what that is.
I have to talk to my doctor about that.
Hey, break down. What is a quarterback arm fitness?
Stamina. Yeah, stamina is kind of what they mean by that, but I don't see it.
But my thing is, how can you say that he doesn't have the stamina to hold up through a season? He only played 2.5 games.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Give him a chance.
Here's their excuse. Well, he couldn't beat out Jimmy Garoppolo. Kyle openly stated it's going to be hard for a rookie to come in here and take Jimmy's spot. The man had the playbook down literally within 3 weeks of being there. Mentally. He's been breaking down NFL football game film since he was in high school. And you have the nerve to go out there and talk crap. And the biggest thing for me, honestly, being black in America, the number one problem that we have is that we don't hold each other down the right way a lot. And it's unfortunate that happens. And people see that. So Acho and Wiley, come on, man.
hold your young brother down.
Acho's clueless. And then you look at Colin Coward. Hello, what is going on? What's with the hate now? Because he dumped his daughter.
Exactly. That's why
he dumped his daughter. That's the bitterness.
He's big mad about that. But my thing is, I don't think that you can continue to throw all this hate and this vitriol toward Trey Lance when you haven't even seen the guy play. Colin Cowherd did say that after a while. He said, "Hey, can I just watch him play so I can make a fair assessment?"
Joy Taylor even said, "There's the film right there. Watch it."
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Hey, was that really a story?
Yeah, no, he wants to see the film, but Joy Taylor said it's right there.
I'm talking about dumping somebody's daughter or something. Was that really a story? Because I thought that was bullshit.
Yeah.
No, that's for real. He was dating Colin Cowherd's daughter, and they broke up.
Liv Coward, whatever her name is.
Oh, okay. Then I retract my statement.
That's bitterness, man. I think he wanted his daughter to marry him because of the money.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is, period, point blank, Trey Lance hasn't given you enough of a sample size for you to really pass judgment on the young kid. But I don't hear nobody saying nothing about Zach Wilson. I don't hear nobody saying nothing about Justin Fields. Now,
I call him Mormon Wilson.
I'm gonna tell you why they say nothing about Zach Wilson. Because it's the Jets organization, and the Jets are trash. And then that's how they're gonna spin it. But then you go over to Chicago, you know what they're going to say for Justin Fields? He didn't have an O-line, so we can't say anything negative about him. But Justin Fields played more ball than Trey Lance did, and so did Zach Wilson. But I don't hear y'all raking them over the coals like you do Trey Lance. And this man hasn't even given you a sample size for you to really make a fair assessment.
2.5 games we're talking about. Yeah, 2.5 games. Like, come on, give it some time. I mean, it takes like a year, but nobody's giving criticism on Zach Wilson. Or should I say Mormon Wilson, because he looks like one of those Mormon kids in church that just goes on the mission. Like, like one of those nice guys that your mom, that a mother's daughter would want to date. That's what Zach Wilson is, and nobody's even throwing criticism at this guy. You look at what was it, Justin? Yeah.
The only quarterback last year that made any noise was named Mac Jones, and you know the reason why he made noise? Because he went to the perfect situation.
Belichick.
Who may have missed when he got drafted by the Patriots is when he hugged Roger Goodell. He said, "This is where I wanted to be anyway." He said that. The camera close up on him, and I heard him say it. So, yes, was that the perfect situation for him? Exactly. And we all knew it was easy to beat out Cam Newton. We know the Patriot system is very intricate. And when you have a young rookie coming in teaching you the system, you know your job is in jeopardy. So what do? They do? They say, hey, Mac's already picking it up. Forget it. Just let Cam go. Let him do his thing. And it's no disrespect to Cam Newton, but just in this situation, kid took the job. It is what it is. You just got to take that L and keep on pushing with life.
Yeah, Cam Newton is broken down. He's not the same quarterback like he used to be. But Zach Wilson's not looking good in OTAs, but nobody's giving him a hard time. That's the weird part, but they want to give it to Trey. But Trey hasn't had a bad OTAs at all. He's kind of looked pretty good. The only time he's ever had
a backup offensive line. Think about that. Nobody he's been playing with on that offensive line is a starter. I believe they started Colt McKivitz at left tackle, Aaron Banks at left guard, Jake Brindle was his center, Jalen Moore was his right guard, and I forgot who they put at right tackle, but it definitely wasn't Mike McGlinchey. So
I think it was Justin School.
You're right. So look at that. That's literally him playing with a second, possibly even third string offensive line, and he's still lighting it up, but we still have nothing but negative things to say.
And why are they still complaining about Trey Lance's wobble? I mean, as long as the ball gets there, who cares? They're complaining about a wobble. Oh my god!
Wobble.
Okay, I'm gonna pose this question to Breakdown. Breakdown, did you watch Joe Montana's Peacock special? Okay,
but I watched a lot of Joe Montana.
In Joe Montana's Peacock special, you know what he said? I don't throw a spiral. I throw a tight wobble. So Joe Montana won 4 Super Bowls with a tight wobble. But we're over here killing Trey Lance because he's got a little wobble on the ball. What are we doing here?
Peyton Manning threw with the wobble his entire career, right? I mean, I think that, oftentimes Yeah, oftentimes they just need hot takes, man. These people are looking for hot takes out there to try to
Wasn't Brady
generate.
throwing wobbles?
Yeah, he was.
So what's like?
I mean, it's
I don't
rare
see the
that you
difference.
somebody that has just a perfect spin and they're throwing spirals all the time. Now, I mean,
Warren Moon.
Aaron,
Warren Moon's my only guy. That's the only guy I remember that just threw a perfect ball every time he threw it was Warren Moon. Man.
I mean, Warren Moon, all his butt. Yeah, when he
Aaron
threw the ball,
Rodgers throws wobbles and nobody freaking trips about it.
Yeah. The only reason they don't trip off Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers can throw a bomb like nobody's business.
He got arm talent.
Yeah, he got arm talent, but what I'll tell you is he can't beat us in the playoffs. I know that much.
Oh man, then you got Stafford with the arm talent, but he doesn't. I don't know if he throws like in between kind. Stafford, yeah. Then you got Derek Carr who throws more in between. Not as like he throws wobbly at times. So there's a lot of other quarterbacks.
The one that's the question about our fitness is Stafford.
Stafford doesn't really throw in he can throw a deep pass if he has to, but he doesn't. He's more like a better passer than Jared Goff. That's why they went that direction. So of course you're going to try to upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry if you're going to tell me I have to choose between Matt Stafford and Jared Goff. I'll take Matt Stafford every second of the day.
Yeah,
there's no reason to go with Jared Goff over Matt Stafford. The only thing that made me laugh was his AT&T commercial where he had his little ode to the Detroit Lions. And then next thing you know, his commercial goes off. I'm like, oh my God, you guys, come on. So who wrote this script? But
anybody who comes out of Detroit, they do better.
Okay, I'll tell you this with this comment out by nature, Grant, he is killing Brock Purdy. He is destroying poor Brock Purdy. I'll say that. But that's all I'm gonna say, man. Like it just. Oh yeah. Thanks to Aaron Donald being paid $30 million a year with his.
I had a feeling he was going to get it.
Bosa is about to blow the roof off of that joint. If he's healthy this year and stays
defensive player of the year
with another 15 to 20 sacks, oh yeah, we're fucked. He's gonna rip.
Dude, we're fucking screwed anyways because we don't pay that fucking big on these players.
Well, that's what I wanted to touch on. It's like the Niners need to like pay the guys that they have because they've missed on a lot of free agents, whether it's D Ford or Jet McKinnon or Quan Alexander, and you could call it injuries or whatever. But the high money free agents they've paid for have not panned out. Hopefully, Charvarius Ward changes that. But when you have guys like Debo and Bosa on your team, stop playing this game where you're waiting until the beginning of training camp to pay your guys because all this drama is happening in the offseason that doesn't need to happen. And it's not good for team chemistry. So to me, pay Debo now. How is it that the Rams can come up with this money, but we can't come up with the money for Debo now? Right? It just doesn't make sense.
And they ain't never got no damn money, and they never got no first round picks, but they always find a way to work it out. So my thing is maybe Parag needs to sit down with Les Snead and figure out what the fuck to do because this doesn't make any sense. I agree with you on
They're
that.
Gonna pay them.
You got to start paying these dudes. You're going to get yourself in a lot. The thing is, as a star, you want to go where you can win and where the money is. And some people are stars and they just want the money. So I get it. That sometimes if that's what you're playing for, you don't really care about it. You just know you have immense talent and you can get paid. By all means, do your thing. But the average star will tell you, I want to win a ring and I want to still be compensated for such fairly, which is why you see Aaron Donald staying with the Rams and why they gave him $30 million. If Nick Bosa comes out and give us 15 or 20 sacks and we wind up winning the Super Bowl, what you going to do? Look at him and tell him, yeah, we can't match Aaron Donald's 30, but we'll give you like 23. It's not going to work. He's going to look at you. He's going to look at you in his calm, cool demeanor. Yeah.
He says, I'll get something better. But he's like, but maybe if teams want to look at it this way, the blueprint to win championship and Super Bowls is you shouldn't be paying too much ridiculous contracts, man. Like at least take it's kind of like the quarterback market value in today's NFL. It's ruined a lot of like team commodities. Yeah, because majority of the cap space go to the quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yep.
Like you look at the percentage of the contracts of the quarterbacks. It's a big chunk of money difference compared to the positions that everybody looks at. Like you look at the edge rushers, right? They're getting in between the mid $20 million range, close to $30 million because Aaron Donald set the damn market. And you look at the wide receivers; they're pushing in between the 28 million or 30 million range, and then you got the quarterbacks going between the 50 mil. You know, it's like, good lord.
And for United by Nature's comment, rest in peace to Deshaun Watson. Let me tell you something. Deshaun Watson just got a whole guaranteed contract. That man got low money. He ain't worried about none of that. That little bread he finna dole out to these people to keep their mouth shut. That, let me tell you something. People, when you get to a certain financial status,
You're good.
certain amounts of money just become nothing. That man just got what, 260 million guaranteed? The
Roughly.
whole thing?
Whole cow,
You really
bro.
think he's worried about dropping off 5-10 million between all of these people to shut him up? I don't think he cares.
Dude, they care
And,
about guaranteed monies, dude. They care about the
I
guarantee.
mean, he got the whole thing guaranteed. Even Patrick Mahomes didn't get that. Though he got $500 million, he still didn't get that. 230 million. So you really think he worried about losing maybe about 10 to 15 of that, paying people to shut up?
Nah,
Not
he don't give a damn. He don't give a damn.
Man.
I mean, he's averaging 46 million a year if we're looking at the contract.
They might not be able to keep their DN, Miles Garrett. Never know. That big old deal.
Yeah,
He
big
gonna have to
contract coming up.
Yeah, he gonna have to rework that joint because Miles Garrett, year in and year out, balls out. He
He
plays.
does.
He is
not
their
get
Nick
hurt.
Bosa. You know what I'm saying? He is their Nick Bosa.
He
But
is.
he's a tough one too, and he can get pretty physical. But when you look at the Niners situation, we move forward from Jimmy Garoppolo. We have the opportunity to build a team. Trey Lance is like our ticket. He's our ticket right now. So when you think about it, Trey Lance is on a rookie contract. You can go for at least 3 more years of his production, and then you can figure out what to do from there. Like I think he's got you can go by the 3-year contract, but then put in the 5th-year option, and you can still work with Trey and that talent. And then as soon as the salary cap kicks in, we start working out a contract in the near future with Trey if he pans out, you know. And which I do believe he will. He will because he's going to get all the talent. You want to like showcase his deep arm talent, right? Why not get somebody like a Danny Gray? You draft him in the 3rd round. The guy's got speed, and he can give you that big playability.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I personally think Lance to Danny Gray is gonna be like Mahomes to Tyreek Hill. You know, I mean, the West Coast version. That's what I think, man. Like,
possibility.
That boy can take the roof off everybody, man. I'm waiting
That's
for that.
what everybody's been saying all training camp. That dude can fly. Like that's all I hear is how fast he is. And the cool thing is you know, we just got to work on him. You know, making sure he catches the ball because I think that was the issue with him in college was, you know, his hands. So as long as he starts to secure those passes, we'll be good because they say he lets the ball get into his body. And we all know when you catch with these, can't catch with your body. I mean, there's only certain times where you're going to be able to pin it. If it's coming over the shoulder or something, yeah, you want to keep your arms closed, drop it in and do it like that. But all I've heard is how fast this kid is. I heard he's just literally taking the top off the defense and nobody can keep up with him.
Yeah, Marquise Goodwin with toughness. And he does have better ball skills as far as his hands go when it comes to catching the ball than Marquise Goodwin. Marquise had a real problem with his hands.
He did.
You know, Gray is I broke him down, and I mean the competition wasn't the best, but he ran the route tree, and I didn't see too many drops overall. He high points the ball when it's contested catches. I think there's a lot to like about him. You know, maybe Deshaun Jackson would be a good, you know, a tougher Deshaun Jackson type.
Yeah, like the speed and the way he's after the catch, it's off the chain. Oh, dude, Ted Ginn was a good returner, but he was a solid, like he was an okay deep receiver, just didn't produce at the next level. But when it comes to kicking returns and all that stuff, the guy was a game changer.
Hey, CJ, there's one thing as far as playing a defensive back, there was one thing I was nervous about was going up against a receiver who had that speed. I don't know if you remember him, CG, McKay Christensen, who played for Clovis West.
I probably wouldn't know who he was.
Man, that dude was fast. I mean, I did just enough to neutralize him, but that was one thing I was always nervous about going up against speedy receivers.
Well, the thing about speedy receivers is they just have that top gear speed, and it's hard to catch. You know, like that track speed. You just can't teach that, and they just have it. So But then when you look, what 49ers breakdown was correct about was the guy he was talking about before Danny Gray was this Tyquan Thornton guy. He even like said it like before the draft that this guy could easily be early draft pick before anybody noticed. And the Patriots got him. And you were really high on this guy.
I was. Yeah, I said I drafted him in the third. He ended up going in the second, right? But, you know, the interesting thing, and I think Dion made a great point, and, you know, we heard Jimmy, I don't know if you guys saw when Jimmy was mic'd up, he's like, all right, we got to check out the guys that are fast. He's like, Gray's fast, BA's fast, right? So he's already putting Gray as like the fastest guy out there. There's a lot of guys that run 4.3s, 4.4s when they go to the clock, but it doesn't translate to the field. We're seeing Danny translate it to the field football speed where, whoa, this guy is fast. Like there's a difference in this guy. So the fact that his speed translates to me is just awesome because it forces defenses to play you differently. Especially with Trey's arm talent. I mean,
hey, breakdown. What do you think when you put the pads on? That's gonna tell a lot.
Yeah, I think it changes a little bit, but that helmet ain't light, you know. And if he's running out there like that already against other guys without pads on, I think he's going to be fine. They don't wear much for leg pads anymore, you know. Shoulder pads.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
So I think, you know, I think what we're seeing right now is a really, really good indication. And look, he doesn't have to be a guy that gets a ton of targets. You know, and with Trey's arm talent, those deep balls start to become an option. Or even you put him on the outside on the single receiver side, trips away from him, and now you work those choice routes depending on coverage. And Trey can just missile that thing in there. So I think he provides a lot of depth at the receiver position and options that the Niners haven't really had.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's what we lacked last year because we didn't have that speedy receiver. People were saying, oh, Debo was fast too. But yeah, he did. He was fast too, but he didn't have that world-class speed. When you look at Danny Gray, see, when Danny Gray gets that ball, like I watched his film at first, I just wasn't sure about him because I've heard of his name. But when I saw the guy after the catch, that stood out to me because he's tough. Mm-hmm. And he's got that speed. Once he gets that ball, it's over. Try to tackle him, too late. Yeah. He's going to score.
And Jimmy's arm talent, let's just be honest. Jimmy's arm talent limited the shots downfield. They limited the shots outside the numbers. He was very accurate over the middle of the field. He could run the offense, good game manager. He did some things really good. But as far as putting the ball down the field on a fade or a deep ball on a post, it just wasn't there, right? I mean, wasn't it Brandon Ayuk that said more deep balls, please, like in a tweet this offseason?
Yeah,
right?
He was complaining about it.
Deep ball me, please.
Yeah, so, I mean, Trey's got the arm talent to be able to do that. That's scary.
With Brandon Ayuk's wingspan, you really think he's not going to catch the ball?
Right.
Dude, that dude's got long arms than Calvin Johnson.
That man,
you got Megatron.
Hey, everybody, I'm going to have to get off right now. My battery is running extremely low. It might die out, so.
Okay, we're going to end it anyways. But let me give you guys the last intro and all that stuff. All right, I'll let you go on, Mo, so you can say your final say, and then we're going to end it. Oh, he left. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, it died.
All right. So, Melissa, you can get your final intro.
What's up? Nice to see Joel and somebody in the chat. And let's go Niners.
Okay. Dion, you next.
We're definitely going to have a good off season. Hopefully, at least by the time training camp comes, we can get 10 in there to pass the physical, get him on out the building, and allocate that money elsewhere to other players that we need. And hopefully we go ahead and get rid of D Ford as well to be able to continue to have an open roster spot. Other than that, go Niners.
Hell yeah. And then we got Antonio. Let's go.
Yeah, I think Trey Lance can be as good as Mahomes, man. He got that kind of lethal ability. Mixed with a little bit of Justin Herbert, Josh Allen. But I like what I'm hearing so far from all the players on both sides of the ball. We just added more talent to the trenches, whether it's edge rush, pass rush, offensive line. I love our cornerback situation. So, hey, you guys, subscribe to my channels, 49er King 510 on YouTube and podcast Facts Over Feelings. Thank y'all.
All right. And then we got Breakdown, the king of breakdown.
Yeah, I think Trey McNabb, or I mean Donovan McLance. I don't know. I can't. I think he's going to be just fine. You know, interestingly enough, I'm going to do a breakdown tonight on Donovan McNabb because to me that's the closest guy I can think of, and I'll show why tonight. But the cool thing about Donovan was he only played about 5-6 games his rookie year, and then his second year he played a full season and won Offensive Player of the Year in the NFL. He had a tremendous year, so I think we can be excited about Trey Lance, and yeah, go Niners.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! Hey, but we got our Sheamus in the building right there, so that's cool. Yeah, all right, but yeah, you know, it's a great opportunity, but we'll look forward to next week. But yeah, you know, I'm gonna have to check out your breakdown about McNabb. I think there's some good comparisons right there. But this may sound crazy, but I might go a little different. I might say Dante Culpepper when he had the weapons, bro. Remember that dude from the Vikings?
Yeah, just maybe Dante Culpepper with better feet, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
but that arm talent's there, dude.
Culpepper was a big body guy.
Yeah.
But mobile version, if you think about it.
Right. Yeah, I like it.
And he grew up a Vikings fan, so of course he modeled the game after a guy like him.
Right. Yeah.
All right, I'll catch you guys later. We'll look forward to next week. Hopefully everything's all good, but it's a good show so far, so we'll end on a high note. So as always, CG Ruthless Sports and the entire crew is out, and see y'all later. Go Niners.
Bye, y'all.